Hello. So in the previous video we saw about the general wave equations or the field expressions of electromagnetic waves in a rectangular waveguide. So now let us recall the expressions for the transverse electric field and transverse magnetic field. Okay. So we have already derived it. So let us recall because we need it for the field patterns. So the transverse magnetic wave equations or field expressions in the rectangular waveguide, we already found it for Tm. I know Hz is 0 and Ez equation I will find out by using the Helmholtz equation and boundary conditions. Okay, so this is the equation which I will find out, and I found this out to be the constant term C into sine m pi by ax into sine n pi by by. Okay, and I have to include the constant term, exponential terms e power j omega t, which denotes that the transverse magnetic mode is going to vary exponentially with respect to time with a frequency omega, and the exponential term e power minus gamma z is also included because it represents that the wave is propagating along positive z direction with the propagation constant gamma. So this is included everywhere in all the field expressions. Okay, so this is not derived, this is included. So this Ez and Hz we know, and when we know Ez and Hz, we can substitute these two in the general equations Ex Ey, Hx Hy. I think you can do it. If you have not done, or you please try it on your paper, this will be the end equation. So we had the set of equations in terms of Ez and Hz. Remember? So in those Ez and Hz terms, please substitute Hz and Ez, which is given here, and I will be obtaining minus gamma by h square. I'll have some constant term. I'll have another constant which is m pi by a cos of m pi by a in x direction sine of n pi by b in y direction e power j omega t e power minus gamma z. Okay, so for Ey I'll have minus gamma by h square, constant term, n pi by b sine of m pi by a in x direction cos of n pi by b in y direction e power j omega t e power minus gamma z. And for Hx, I have j omega epsilon by h square c n pi by b sine of m pi by ax cos of n pi by by e power j omega t e power minus gamma z. And Hy will be j minus j omega epsilon by h square c m pi by a cos of m pi by ax sine of n pi by by e power j omega t e power minus gamma z. So these are the equations or the field expressions which I obtained for Tm modes. Okay, and I know what is A, B, and I know what is M and N, right? If you do not know, I will tell you now. Okay, we'll just see what is the set of equations for Te also, and I will explain what is the importance of M and N and what is A and B. So what is going to be the set of equations for Te? For Te I know Ez is 0, and I will obtain the Hz equation from the same Helmholtz equation and the boundary conditions. So here I will be having cost term. This is the only difference when compared to Tm. So this is the Hz equation which I have obtained. So by using this Ez and Hz value, substituting in the general wave equation, I will once again obtain the Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy equations. So I will be having j omega mu by h square n pi by b. You please check, please derive and check the derivations. Minus j omega mu by h square m pi by a gamma by h square m pi by a again gamma by h square n pi by b, and all the remaining terms will be the same. Fine. So these are the wave equations I will get for TE modes. Now for TM or TE, will only one mode exist? No. I have a lot of modes existing. And how do I differentiate the modes? How many modes are there? Infinite modes are there. So how will I first find out the mode number? So whether it is a TE or TM, okay, TE or TM, it is going to have a lot of modes, and those modes are going to be given by the subscripts, which are called M and N. So TM, Mn, or TE, Mn. Okay. So what is this M and what is this N? You can see everywhere. So I have already explained you in the previous class. If you don't remember, don't worry, I will tell you now. I have to rub this for explanation. Okay. So for example, if I am taking TE now, because I have the TE expression here, let us have TE. This is a rectangular waveguide. Okay. So for TE, I know this is the Hz equation and Ez is 0. So the length of the cross section of this rectangular waveguide is given by A, and the width of the cross section of this rectangular waveguide is given by B. This TE is having the subscript M and N. Okay, so this M subscript denotes that how many half wavelengths are present along a dimension. What is half wavelength? First of all, what is wavelength? A positive maximum and a negative maximum. This length is called one wavelength, right? So I have half wavelength. Okay, half wavelength. How many half wavelengths are here? 2 half wavelengths are here. Okay, so this M is denoting half wavelength along a dimension. So for example, if M is equal to 1, it means that 1 half wavelength is present along a dimension. If M is equal to 2, then it means that a positive half wavelength and a negative half wavelength is present along a dimension. If M is equal to 3, then it means that half wave, another half wave, another half wave. I have 3 half wavelengths along a dimension. Okay, so this is M subscript. So the modes can increase. How many ever half wavelengths it will be propagating? It can propagate. Okay, so the modes will be increasing. And N, what is N? N is the half wavelength along B dimension. For example, if N is equal to 1, it means that 1 half wavelength is propagating along B dimension. If N is equal to 2, then 2 half wavelengths are propagating along B dimension. Okay. So this is the significance of the M and N subscripts. How many half wavelengths are propagating along a dimension is given by M, and how many half wavelengths are propagating along B dimension is given by N. Okay. So for TE mode, I already derived for the cutoff wavelength for the dominant mode. You remember? So for TM, the dominant mode is TM11. When the subscript M and N are both 1, then I had highest cutoff wavelength. So whichever mode is having highest cutoff wavelength is called dominant mode. Okay. So for TE mode, which is the dominant mode? TE10 mode is the dominant mode. Though the primary mode is TE01, the cutoff wavelength was highest for TE10, which means M is 1 and N is 0. So this is the dominant mode for TE mode. Okay. So we will see the field pattern for this mode first. After that we'll go for higher order modes also. We will see how the expressions are going to change now. All these wave expressions or field expressions will be changing because the subscripts are changing, right? Nothing else will change. When the subscripts are changing, the expressions start changing, because you see the constant terms are having the subscripts. So when I put N is equal to 0, what will happen? These two terms are becoming 0. Okay, some field expressions are missing. So we will see what field expressions we are getting for TE10. This is the dominant mode for TE mode. We will see that, and we will draw the field patterns for TE10. Okay.